marketing really comes from the awareness of compound interest and understanding how to be able to position yourself. I mean, I have a tattooed on my back, 1% better every day is 37 times better every year. And applying the same things to your marketing funnel. 1% worse every day, you go from 1 to 0.03.
Wait, 1% better every day is 30% better a year?
37 times better.
Oh, wow. So 1% better every day is 37 times.
Yes.
So if every day you're
if you had $1
1%
and you improve $1, 1% every day, you'd have $37.
Wow.
So if you have $1 million, you do 37 times in 1 year, that's 37 million. You do 37 million one more year, you go from 37 to times 37. What is that? You're like fucking 200 million bucks.
Right.
There's expectation is everything. There's actually been some studies done. Don't quote me on where their studies were done, but there's been some studies done somewhere this happened. But they actually did a lot of research on this concept of like what the sales team says for onboarding and how it affects clients long term and how long they stay for. And there's a lot of that shows that if you set really good expectations about what is going to be happening and those things happen after you say it, clients are actually often going to stay with you longer because there's consistency in what you say and what you do. And so expectations wise, this is the beautiful thing about focusing on building authority instead of being somebody's friend, is if I build a lot of authority, I can set a really realistic expectation and we can actually blow that expectation out of the water because they trust me so much. And so believe it or not, with our process, I try to actually undersell what we're going to do. And I'll be like, listen, like it's going to take us 90 days before we're even breaking even. Like that's the reality of the situation. And if you're not comfortable with that, then this isn't going to work. And I set really hard expectations like that. So when they onboard, they're like, okay, this is great. I trust them. This is realistic. And then our team crushes on day 60 and they're like, I'm going to stay here forever. This is amazing. And so I try to be very realistic with expectations, but it only works if you have a lot of authority. Because if you're somebody's buddy and you haven't built any authority and then you say it's going to take 90 days, they're going to be like, I'm going to go find somebody that I trust more to get it done faster. And so that's kind of my take on it. And when I say expectations too, I'm very clear about like going back from what I was just saying is we want to make sure that everything we say is going to happen actually happens. If I say so-and-so is going to be reaching out to set up onboarding and that person doesn't, we're starting off a relationship me not following through with what I said. And so all these little things have to kind of fall into place. And that all starts with sales. And so I think expectations are one of the most important things to do. And you should be really clear. I have some of my clients that set expectations that you're not going to see any results for the first 90 days, like any results. And they still close a ton of people because they have so much authority and people just trust them. And they're also not trying to like, we're going to double your business in a month because people also don't trust that. And so it's this great way of building a lot of trust, but also setting your team up for success to keep people for a really long time. And then you don't have that clash of marketing and sales and fulfillment and sales because we're helping them versus setting them up for failure.
First, start with cold email. We recommend getting at least 20 inboxes to start with. So that'd be like 400 emails per day. That way you're getting at least a lead per day to start with. And then you can scale it up from there. I would say the next part is obviously warming them up, setting them up and everything like that. And then any lead that you contact over cold email, you need to retarget them via LinkedIn. So there's platforms like Dripify and Ulink and all these places where you can throw your cold email list in and then it will automatically start sending cold outbound messages to those people that you hit up on cold email, but now on LinkedIn. So now there's omnipresence. Right there. With that strategy, you should be able to book like 5 calls a week pretty easily, just through those 2 channels. And then once you're hitting KPI where like your reply rates are 2%, LinkedIn's booking you at least 2 meetings a week, 2 to 3 meetings a week. Cold email, you're getting 1 lead every 250 emails sent. You're converting 40 to 50% onto a meeting. At that point, you can scale up the volume. And then just another thing we're experimenting with is like literally retargeting the people you're sending emails to with like $5 a day retargeting ads. So now they're seeing you on email, they're seeing you on LinkedIn, and they're seeing you all over their feed on Facebook.
The biggest bottleneck underneath that is typically like divided attention, where the entrepreneur isn't focusing on things that are actually revenue generating and they're trying to build systems for things that like don't exist yet and all of that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Solving problems that they've never even run into or aren't going to run into for a while. So typically what their time just needs to be spent on initially is just generate as much money as humanly possible and hire like a VA to handle as much of your administrative tasks so that all of your time can be spent on revenue generation. And then once you're there, then that's where the operational and sales and lead generation complexity comes into play.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they're just trying to be busy for the sake of being busy.
Build a strong team. If you have a strong team working with you and behind you, you can do whatever you want to do. I get to pick up and say, hey, Tuesday I'm not working. One of my team members is going to pick up the work, and I go and do what I want to do. And I can only do that because I trust them to get it right. If I was worried that, hey, my team was going to drop the ball or a client was going to leave me if I even stepped out of the business for a day, I couldn't do half the things I want to do. So if you can build a strong team, somebody, and multiple people you can trust and put your trust into, that is when you will find freedom to do whatever you want to do in your day, and therefore you're fully free.
And this is my advice. This is not going to be the same shit that everyone says, dude. I'm all about selling. Sell, 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 and then build along the way. Yes, it's not the ideal way to go, but at least you'll build up revenue and plug the holes along the way. You need cash. You need to pay to play. You can't just do things with a smile and a handshake. So sell, acquire revenue, build out your processes, and fucking scale.